Today's video is going to be an updated world boss video on my Heath SSS. 24 million, right now ranked 38 as the highest Heath. Heath is one of the harder summoners to do world boss. I'm going to give you some tips for SSS and on Heath. If you end up liking this video, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell ding-a-ding-a thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Alright, here is the team that I am using. I was using light Heath for the longest time because a light weapon does more damage based on the number of beneficial effects he has, and same with his ultimate. However, I started using wind. For one, it's a self-attack buff. Two, he removes a buff on his second skill. However, on his ultimate, which I'm using tons of ultimates, he removes two beneficial effects. This is huge due to the two buffs that the world boss gets. For my ultimate battery, I'm using Celestia. I don't have a maxed out legendary artifact, so the RNG on this really sucks. I'm using Vertiheal for the mana cost down. I only use his ultimate every once in a while. With enhancement amplification, the mana cost down buff lasts for a long time. I was using Perna as my damage dealer for a long time because I didn't have Sigmarus built. I'd really love a Brandia. She's going to be my next test. But now that I have Sigmar's soul connected, that's who I use. Once I'm done with World Boss, I'm going to change him back to somebody else. And just a quick note on Sigmarus on how to build him. This is for World Boss only. Because of all the buff stacking, which is attack speed, and maybe you run Windy as well, so crit damage, and maybe you run a crit rate buffer. These are all things you need to know when you build Sigmarus for World Boss. If you're running an attack speed buffer, which you probably are, level 10 will get you 110% more attack speed. Sigmarus' skills is based off of his attack speed, so just shoot for 150 attack speed. When you stack up the level 10, you'll hit the cap. If you run Windy, the crit damage buff stacks to 150%. Crit damage cap is 400. And again, if you run a crit rate buffer, level 10 is 80%. But you may or may not run that crit rate buffer. Just be aware of these things. But you could literally run like at 150 attack speed Sigmarus and just stack attack and get the most benefit out of your Sigmarus for World Boss. And the rest of the raid team, my supports, Wahi, Michelle, Remy, Rena, that's where I move my team and stack on them. Then we have Kroa, Tion, King, and Zinc. And on my tank team, it's Ariel, Ragdoll, Wusa, and AV. I need a provoke and a silence to keep that ultimate gauge from the boss lower. So I'm using Ragdoll, sorry if you don't got him. It's important to have silence and provoke. If he gets his ultimate, you're pretty much dead. As you see in his ultimate gauge, the ultimate gauge goes up during time and when he defeats an enemy. The gauge goes down if he gets silenced or provoke. That's why provoke and silence is good. But here is the run. First, I go to the left group, my buff group, and I stack on them. And really all I'm doing is using Celestia's second skill, which increases ultimate gauge, decreases my monster skill cooldowns. I don't use it the whole time. When I get the first ultimate, I switch to Vertiheal and I use his ultimate, then I come back and use Celestia. Now a key note with Heath, before you use your ultimate, if you can use your evasion skill to get Shadow State, your ultimate will do more damage. You get a crit damage buff when you're in Shadow State. But anyway, once you get that mana cost down from Vertiheal, if you keep using Celestia's skills, he's gonna be using his mana cost down through his skills. So he will keep the buff up as much as possible. You don't really need to switch back to Vertiheal except for like maybe during like a boss phase where you don't have anything to do. You can start out with Vertiheal. But most of the time, if you have one mana cost on Celestia's skill, what you do is you switch to Sigmarus once you get that gauge filled up, and then you ultimate to do big damage. It's pretty much rinse and repeat after that. You want to be around the 12 million point score, around like 1 minute 30 seconds, because it's about 3-minute fight, and that's kind of like the gauge that you want to shoot for if you're trying to hit for like SSS, okay? But yeah, you just pretty much want to be able to nuke them down as fast as possible. And I use Heath and wind weapon, again, to remove those 2 buffs, the crit res down, damage taken down, because those are just annoying. If your damage dealer does not crit, then obviously he's not going to be doing big damage. Zinc is there to do the block beneficial effect, and I stay on the support team on the left side because I need heals. I need Sigmar's to stay alive. I need shields. I need defense buff. I need damage taken down, crit damage taken down from Remy. There's a lot of reasons why I have the group set up like I do. I have Rena on the left side too, so she can cleanse the damage over time that Solarian puts on us. But yeah, as you see too, my Sigmar's died early. I probably could have pumped out a little bit more damage. But hey, it is what it is. I'll take it. In my opinion, Heath is probably one of the harder summoners to do this with. And this is how you do it. But yeah, I have Michelle in the left group to extend my buffs and the res in case someone dies in that group. Rena for another buff defense and a shield, cleanse, and a heal. While he's there for the attack buff and an extra heal. Remy for 3 more buffs plus crit damage taken down is nice. So I have a lot of buffs over here. Sigmar's is so good here because he does damage A based on attack speed, B based on the amount of beneficial effects he has, and C he increases the duration on his own buffs. So he'll always have buffs on him. And he gives himself attack speed and crit damage taken up to the enemy. Tion's my reviver in that group. Croa for more buffs and also for the crit damage taken up. You may not have him, but I use King as well. He also applies crit damage taken up, so him and Crow together make that really fast to be applied. He also applies attack down, so the boss doesn't hit hard. Not only that, but res down is very huge. And on the tank team, Ariel Wusa. AV, which you may not have either, also applies attack down, so stacking, which is good. Crit rate down, which is good. Defense buff to my tank team. And she uses this skill again if her allies in her team get hit by a boss. But yeah, brought out Zinc once again. Crit rate down on the first skill and block beneficial effect on the second. Along with, again, attack down. It's huge. But with Wind Heath removing those 2 buffs and then Zinc applying block beneficial effect, it does not stop my Sigmar's from critting. And that's how you get the 24 million. That's it for today's video. I'm gonna go AFK and go eat a cheesesteak. Yummy. If you end up liking this video, sub, like, ding ding bell. See you in the next one. Peace.